Think we're live. Just going to invite Nikki in. Hello, everybody. So, how did I do this? Okay, I'm going live. Okay. Okay, Nikki, I think you have to send me a request. Invite to join. Okay, got it. Hey, people are streaming through. Hi, everybody. Can you guys tell me if you can hear me? Just type in a message to say yes if you can hear me. Good. Thanks. Beautiful. Thanks, Ije. Thanks, Aisha. I think we're early, so we're just waiting for Nikki to come in. Oh, Nikki says she's unable to join. Or it says Nikki is unable to join. Oh, she's waved. Hey, Nikki. Okay, I sent you a request. Go live with Nikki. Okay. Accept. Go live with Nikki. Still waiting. Maybe it takes a bit of time. Come on, Nikki, come on. We want to hear about doors, entrances. We want to hear about the energy of houses and what we can do to... Oh. So now Nikki's unable to join again. Okay, I'm viewing this request. Go live with Nikki. Why isn't it working? Why isn't it working? Hold on. Once again. Yeah, I've already invited her. I'm accepting. Okay, I know. Hi, Nikki. I know you're here, and I'm getting your accept. I'm seeing that you are sending a request. I'm accepting your request, and I'm saying go live with Nikki. And then there is a bottom piece note. Yeah, I can see the invite, Nikki. And at the bottom of the Instagram live, there is a message that comes in. Nikki is unable to join. Do you have some kind of a block on your account? Because, oh, I'm getting a call now from Panache. Okay, everyone, we're just gonna close up and I'm gonna talk to Nikki, and please hold your horses and we'll be on again. Or I'm gonna try one more time. I'm accepting your invite. Nicky Koopmans wants to be in this live video, and I'm going live with Nicky Koopmans. Doing that again.
Yeah.
Ah, da 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 da. So what was that? Do you know what
I don't
happened?
know. No, I
Oh, okay,
put in the request.
hold on. I have my microphone in, so I can't hear you. Can you hear me now? Can you speak, Nikki?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I had this microphone in my phone, so I couldn't hear you, so I took it out. So it might be a bit echoey. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Nikki, I'm so
Good
happy
morning.
you made that happen. Good. Hey. So everyone
Hey.
who's joined, Nikki and I, we decided to start a, hold on, I'm getting all kinds of notifications. I have to turn those off, but we decided to start a bi-monthly Instagram live talk. We have always so much to talk about, Nikki and I, about the energy of houses and properties, and how people can tap into these energies to amplify abundance, health, vitality, healing, consciousness, and as Nikki calls it, I love her term personal power place, how you can convert, transform your home into your personal power place. And in these times, during the pandemic, where some countries are in lockdown, we've all gone through it in some shape or form and are still going through it. Some of us, we're really awakening to our environments. I feel like, okay, where am I? We've been at home a lot. We're all working from home now. Functions are now distorting and transforming, and there are so many layers now, right? Like my office table was also being used by my 8-year-old son for his like after school homework and whatever. So it's like this like multi-use, multi-layered space. So we're so excited about this, everybody, and we want to spread the love, share our energy and our insights through years of practicing geomancy, practicing as I am an architect. I bridge spiritual wisdom with design, and I work with the energetics of properties and mostly new projects, but also renovations, restorations. And Nikki, uh, I'd like to pass the baton to you to introduce yourself, as an opening to this talk, what you do, what are your gifts, uh, and then we
Well,
can dive into the conversation.
yeah, well, that is a lovely introduction after a rocky start. But well, my name is Nicky Koopmans, and I'm a house healer, geomancer, and energy worker. And I've been working with energy since my teenage years. And then I got on a dowsing course, and that was given by a geomancer. And that was also the first time I learned about the word geomancy. And that was actually describing everything that I already experienced, because geomancy um, is a melting pot of experience, environment, and the place where you live. So everything all together um, is a certain energy. And what I missed in courses I did and trainings I did before was this element of environment. If you do a healing course, it's mostly focused on body and food and maybe the things you wear, but not about events that are happening or the environment. So when I learned about geomancy, um, I got to study that deeper and deeper. And well, we're down the line about 25 years, and there's still so much more to learn. So yeah, and then I help people who are not feeling at home in their own house um, find what is the core issue of that feeling, and the place where you live. you can read as a mirror of your soul, basically. So if you read the energies of your house or your property and you put that on top of the energies and your life story, you will always find some kind of resonancy. And if you have an insight in what that exactly is and you know how to describe that, then you have a choice whether or not to release that certain energy or not. So maybe it sounds all a bit complicated, but actually it's not. It is a whole process. And yeah, you need to dive into it if you are up for the challenge, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's so exciting. I love it. I love taking design and, what would you call, like, space clearing, house healing to this level, to this new level of consciousness. I think many of us who are conscious beings who love this earth, who want to heal this earth, are already very sensitive to energetics, to energies. We're sensitive to what's going on in the collective. We're sensitive to what's going on all around the world, and we're sensitive to what's going on, the major shifts that are going on right now. And it's, urging us to wake up, and I feel like this is the direction to be moving into, to become ever more aware of our souls unfolding. And our houses can be vehicles for that, right? Our houses can be vehicles
exactly.
for our unfolding. And yeah. So today, Tay, we wanted to talk about one of the simplest elements, or one of the simplest elements in a house that could easily be just walked through and forgotten about, or even not even thought about or being conscious of. And this is the door, the doorways, the front entrance to your home. And I want to ask Nikki about the world of doors, right? Like the door to your home. What's important about this in terms of energetics, Nikki? What's important about the door?
The first most obvious thing to get into that is realize, what does a door do? There is no way you can get into any room without an entrance. And that's so easily overlooked. You cannot get into that sacred space without a door, without an entrance. So in geomancy, and also maybe in feng shui, you would say the main entrance of your house is the most important place, because that is where you get into that sacred space. And if you think about a house being like a body, then the main entrance would be the mouth. And the mouth is kind of like a gatekeeper, because the mouth tastes your food, it chews your food, it decides whether it's good or not, together with your nose, of course, and decides what gets in and what needs to stay out. So that's why the main entrance is the main influx point of energy, because it decides what goes in or not. So that's why it's really, really an important feature of a house, but also in a smaller place, maybe a room.
And in your experience, Nikki, working with clients, or even I love some of your posts and how you observe the urban fabric, how you observe neighborhoods, how you observe houses, even, you've had a lot of comments about certain front entrances of homes. in your research, in your observations, and in your experience working one-on-one with clients, have there been doorways, entrances, whether they be that are the main entrance to the house from the exterior, or even entranceways into rooms as you're now opening up? Can you give us some examples of ones that are not working well and ones that are working well, perhaps relative to a specific situation on the property, or a client? Any examples of one that's not working well, for example, a doorway?
I have seen a lot of doorways that make me question, and I would love, but I don't do that, to ring the doorbell and ask why. If you look on my profile, there is a picture of a front door with a nice straight lane in front of it, and it's clear. It looks nice. It is well painted. But in front of it, there's this huge, huge rock that is blocking this narrow path up towards the door. So you can't go
What
from the
was that
street. Really,
that was blocking it? What was the element again that was blocking the door?
a
Blocking the
huge
path? What was it?
rock, a rock, a big stone.
A rope.
And then I'm wondering, okay, how are these people who live in this house, how are they living their lives? I've seen entrances that look like an entrance, but it's obvious it's not used. And when you can see that it is blocked from the inside, because from the inside it might be a wall. But because of exterior and all the committees that find that an old house needs to look like an old house, they cannot change the exterior of the house. But the inside is just a wall. So it's a fake entrance, so to say. And
Right.
I have not been with clients who have a situation like that, but I've seen it, of course, in the streets. And I always wonder, how are their lives running? Because if the main entrance is not the main entrance, the energy cannot come in. It needs to go on the side entrance or the back entrance. How does that play out in their lives? Because I do know that from people, I don't know where you are living, because you're living in Turkey right now, and I live in the Netherlands. In the Netherlands, we have a lot of houses with back doors, and people are using sometimes the back door as a front door.
Yeah.
And
in
here
Canada,
in the Netherlands,
yeah.
in Netherlands, the front door will open, when you open the door, it opens inwards, and the back door opens outwards. So you physically have to take a step back before you can enter inside. And if we go back to the analogy of the body and the mouth, the back door would be the rear end, your anus. So it might be a possibility that if you always use the back door, your life could feel like you're swimming upstream all the time. That you always have to do the most difficult way, because it's not in the natural flow how a house should function. And that
Nikki,
I have seen in with clients, yes. And then they start using the front door more consciousness, more conscious, more aware. And that's because they're conscious of it. That changes the flow in their life as well.
I just love that it's a direct correlation of that it's these manifestations that we see in people's homes, our homes as well, not people, I mean our homes as well, that it's a direct correlation. There's a direct correlation between how we are showing up in the world how the person is showing up in the world, how the person is being in the world. I just love how you open doors, how you open doors in of awareness about that, Nikki. And so the back door, then you say that there's a lot of back doors in the Netherlands. So, and then the front gets interesting. Yeah, we see that a lot in Canada too. Like there's the back door. You know, there's also the mud room. You know, the mud room where you take off your boots and it's all muddy and it's, so I'm thinking of, I was born and raised in Canada, and so, you know, thinking about the weather and the sloppy slush and the snow, and, you know, you always just need a really well-designed mud room, right? And a lot of people will use the mudroom or like the back or the side door for that purpose so that they can keep the front door pretty. But then you can tell.
We have.
And then there's always something I notice so much in Canada, and now I'm comparing it to being in Turkey because it's a totally different vibration here, totally different way of living, many more apartments, low rise, tight courtyards, tight entrances. Anyway, it depends on where you live though. There are also houses in the countryside and more suburban type spaces. So, but going back to the mudroom and then the front door being the pretty. There are often these front porches in Canada, and people will put 2 chairs on the front porch with the most beautiful pillows. Like, you know, of course, not everybody, but I notice the people who are very particularly careful about their front doors. They want to make it look pretty, but they're not using it. They're using the side door or the back door. The front door is to make things pretty, and it's like a facade. It really is a facade. There's the 2 chairs. They never sit on the chairs. They never use the chairs. The pillows are always in the same spot. Whereas in other neighborhoods, or even in Turkey, like the first moment there's a balcony or a front porch, everybody's using it, right? And people are talking to each other, and, you know, tea is being, you're drinking outside. There's much more of an outdoor living room feeling in Turkey. The street is a living room, actually. The street is a part of a big family, right? But in Canada, I noticed that a lot. What do you think about that, Nikki? Like the 2 chairs, the pillows, and then, you know, and then not using the front door. How would that impact your life by not using the front door?
It could show up in your life as that you are very sensitive to status, that you like to keep up appearances, that you don't want to, I don't know if that expression also goes in English, but you don't want to show your dirty laundry.
Aha, yeah, it does. It's the
It
same
could be,
way.
it is always, it could be showing up in any way, shape or form of that. Exactly, you know, you have all the means, but you don't use it. Could also show up as not taking good care of yourself. You have it, but you don't use it. There could also be a certain kind of boundary or an energetic
Safety or something.
phenomena that prevents you from using that space because it's uncomfortable.
I'm feeling the vibe coming in from the audience. We have some comments coming in. We have a facade, like that it would be a facade. We have someone coming saying hiding things, stories from society, hiding things or stories from society. Yeah, we do welcome comments or questions as we are communicating. So please feel free to ask Nikki or I anything. I'm working on a project. It's our home. It's our own home, and it is this concrete block building that I wasn't really present in designing the structure of. And we've got two tiny homes that just came in recently, and we're parking it next to it. But there's something around the entrance of the main house which we will be giving love to. And my intention is to bring a lot of life to this otherwise rigid, dead structure. And right now, the entrance is facing the west, and I'm not a feng shui master. I work with, or even maybe not even use the word master, but I have not studied deeply the feng shui. I've just dipped my toes into it. And so I work mostly with tapping into the energetics of the land, working with the nature spirits, working with the genus loci, which is like the spirit of the city or the place, the region, and also really tuning into our family's needs and how I want to receive the world or receive guests or receive family into this home. So Nikki, the entrance it feels very hidden. It's kind of tucked away. If I could just explain briefly, I'll draw it. I'll draw it. It feels hidden. It feels hidden. It's facing the west. I'm just drawing something here. Okay, the garden is like this. It's really a tight property. It's really tight. So I'm going to be doing like mini gardens, like which I'm actually excited about. Okay, the door's not there yet, but I'm just showing here, and that's the property line. Okay, and there's an entrance here. So Nikki, there's this like side street, which is not really a street. It's where we kind of park our car. It's this little pocket. And then there would be a gateway, but right now that gate is not there actually. It will be a wall of some kind. But right now there is, wait, hold on. There's like a terrace, which I'm going to work on as well. But there is a terrace here. And it's concrete, so it's going to be work. But it's here. So when you're here on the street, it's so hidden. It's so hidden. It's facing west. There's big glass doors. There's big glass like openings here to the garden and the terrace. Actually, the garden is bigger. I didn't draw it proportionally well. It's actually more like this. The garden is actually like this. Okay? But, you know, you would walk in somewhere, but it's feeling very hidden. And for me, intuitively, I wanted to add, intuitively, it didn't feel right. It doesn't feel right that it's hidden. And there's a comment coming in, there must be a reason why you chose this house. Maybe I'm trying
and there
to
is a resonancy. Yeah, it could be perfectly okay if it's hidden. You know, it's a problem if you are a person and we don't know each other at that level yet. If you want to have people all the time, every day, 24/7 in your house, because then it wouldn't match up because people wouldn't be able to find it.
Right.
And then there is something that could be a need for a fix.
Right.
But if it feels right, then I don't see a problem.
Okay, I love it.
As long as it's clean, and the mailman knows where to put your mail, and your friends that you do want to invite know how to find it, I don't see a problem. The problem is only when your wish or your family's wish is different then what happens in the world.
Right.
If you get, every time you have a visitor, every time you get a phone call, I can't find it.
Okay, but what side of the house am I going to enter on? Yeah, I mean, for me, the house is a grounding point for me and my family, and it is not an intention to have people there all the time. That said, I do see that house and the house, the tiny houses behind the property, the outdoor spaces to be inviting community in as a kind of cultural hub. I do feel that. But the inside of my home is really for my personal grounding and going inward. Yeah.
And you do not live there right now, do
No,
you?
I
Is
don't
it
live
not?
there right now.
So it might also change when you are actually there, because you then are
Yeah.
interacting and your whole family is interacting with the space more. And it might be different if you did some landscaping around it, maybe with a different kind of tile from the street to the entrance. You
Yeah.
can also um, uh, guide the energy towards it,
Yeah.
make it more or less inviting.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I always would, that's one of the first questions you ask is if you have an entrance. I think it is important to keep it clean and at least um, let the house know it's yours by putting up a name sign, my name sign. It's a really simple gesture, but a lot of people don't do it here. They don't have a name sign on their house.
Yeah.
And
And you
for
speak
some
that much
people, it makes a huge difference. And even if you are living in one of these flats or apartment blocks that you only have a main entrance downstairs and then inside it's like a hotel,
yeah.
even there also put a little sign of your name and a number or whatever is customary in your country.
And
So it has direction.
I love that. There's some messages coming in from Eje. I think it's Eje is one of my old architecture students actually. She's an architect and is working now in Scotland. Um, you were talking about something about the storage and stagnating. Eje, can you expand on that? And then there is also a comment coming in from Aisu. Oh no, I see. Yeah, storage does stagnate indeed, but there are areas in your house where the stagnating energy is welcomed, huh? And Aisu, are you speaking in general can you expand on that? Is there any question that you have around that for Nikki or I, or any comment that you want to share with the community? And just because there's some delay, we can continue with our conversation. But I love that the name sign is really important, and that's something that people do less and less. I notice a lot more old people. Again, more in Canada. Here, it's less because of more of the apartment structure. But and in Turkey, people are very like most of the time in the evenings, the curtains are closed on all of the inside windows, always closed. Privacy, 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 privacy. Um, in Canada, though, I notice a lot that the older generation who are really about to die very soon, they have their name signs, and often there's a lot of attention and care put into, let's say maybe it's like a wood carving, like the Smithsons, or like the family name will be there. Um, the Jacobsons, or I don't know why I'm saying sons, but right?
But it is a way of grounding yourself to that place.
Okay.
And if we talk about doors, we see a lot of, and you probably know a lot more about that than I do because you're an architect. We see a lot of in houses with not a lot of rooms anymore. You know, the living room and the kitchen is just one
Everything is
room.
open concepts, right?
So there are no boundaries, no clear boundaries anymore.
This is
And
so
that
important.
could lead to confusion. Not for everyone. It depends on your personality. But also with the huge glass windows from floor to ceiling instead of halfway, it has an effect, and not everybody is suited for that kind of effect. When the environment comes in and with such force, with the energy through your window, even more than through the front door, not everybody is capable to handle that. Because when you're inside, because nature is so overwhelming, your attention will always go outside. And in your house, maybe, not everyone, your attention wants to be, you know, like you want with your family. You want to keep it inside. But if you then have a house that invites you to go out and look out, then there is a contradiction. And then you could end up feeling very unhappy. And you do not know what it is because you have this beautiful house with this beautiful view and everything. Yeah.
Something came up for me as you were speaking with the very open houses that have no boundaries or delineation or walls even. And I love that you take it to the level of, well, it depends on who it is, what your goals are for your life, what you desire, your character, your type, right? Whatever that is, and the family structure. But I can imagine that the very, very open concept spaces, and of course it depends on the size of it, can be a bit exhausting for the little ones, the kids. I notice when I'm designing, it can be, again, it depends on who those children are, of course, their souls. But I always notice that when I'm working with clients on their home, they have children, I take a lot of care to create spaces that have like a nook quality, a place where they have the option to hide, where they have the option to climb up and sit in a nook in a corner. It could be like a bunk bed or, like a little tree house. Or these rooms that are these spaces just for them, and they do often need the safety of those boundaries, especially when it comes to rhythms, like rhythms at home. It's helpful then to say, okay, it's time to go to this space. This space is defined to do this, this, and this, or, whatever. For a bedroom, for example, even, does the child want to sleep in the middle of the living room in this open concept space? Or is it, generally better that they feel safe and, nestled within their bedroom? I mean, that's a very basic example, but for me, Nikki, with the doors and the entrances, I'm working very much with the energetics of form and what form does, how to create forms that resonate with our humanity, with the temple, within ourselves, even receiving forms from, recently I've been receiving a lot of messages from beings in the cosmos, and or energetic beings that are bringing in blueprints, bringing in forms, bringing in new forms that can help us to make the next step into the new world, and really bringing it down very simple, like these simple yet very profound. Are all doorways good at a certain height, let's say 2.1 meters, 2.2 to 2.4 meters, straight across, rectangle, right? Straight across, rectangle, and this. Now, I always take a look at the height of the door. often doors are in North America and in Turkey, actually, I noticed that as well. They're too low. They're too low, and they're not, the forms are not helping our higher selves to pass through the threshold as well. Like other parts, expanded parts of ourselves or the other dimensions of ourselves to pass through that threshold. And so I invite everyone to imagine actually what shape and size and form of door would suit your energetics. So imagine it like a kind of footprint, door print, like a pattern. And I see, when I envision doorways, I envision things that have like these, you know, like activators at the top of them, which are some kind of like, you know, metric codes or patterns, almost like a key that like help the energetic body. It's like something that communicates with the energetic body and says, welcome, welcome. I recognize you. This is your space. This is your family space. Perhaps you can even embed the intentions that you have for your life and actually embed it like as decorative codes or something like that. So it's really like temple doors, right? You know, temple
That's what
doors
I wanted
have,
to say, because you are probably familiar with that as well. In a lot of churches, at the entrance, you have these steps. They're round entrances, but they're, I don't know what you call it. It's like a little stairs.
yeah,
Yeah, and even there are churches with entrances that are almost half our size. And what it does energetically, it the imagery is like a shock. So everything that is bad will be leaving your aura. So you enter the church sacred, clean.
yes.
Right?
It's like a,
Yeah. It will scrape everything that is not supposed to be in your energy. It will take it out. It is kind of a ritual entrance. That the same function is these lions at the
yeah,
side of the entrance.
little gargoyles or all different kinds of characters.
All of that, yeah. So yes, and you can do that in your own house. Very simple, with a post-it. Try it. Put a symbol that you really like, put it on the top of the door, and it will be like a blessing.
Yeah.
With the intention. And
Yeah.
another thing I wanted to say, because you were talking about sizes, and I know there's probably a lot of regulations about standard sizes and doors and whatever you have to take into account.
Yeah.
But there is this really interesting experiment. If you take your own height and you make a golden ratio division of that piece of string or whatever it is, you stand on that precise spot of that golden ratio and see what it does to your body. And if you have a partner or a friend with a different height, which has a different golden ratio in absolute numbers, and you will feel the difference it will make.
But do you talk about like your actual physical height, the feeling in your body when you're can you explain? So you stand on the, what are we standing on? Can you explain it again?
I didn't, I just thought of it, so I didn't relook at it how to do it exactly, because my mathematics is not very, very good. If you have a length, like a pen, a length, a certain kind of length, which is your height.
Holding it almost at the golden ratio anyway. Yeah.
And you divide it in the golden ratio, which is about this, I guess. So on this thing. And you stand on this point. it will make you feel more whole, I could say, than if you stand next to it. And if you stand on the golden ratio of a different paint, like this one, which is the perfect resonancy for a different person, you will feel different and maybe even get images from that person. Could be. And if you do that with doors or sizes of a room or whatever shape you are willing to look at, you will feel a difference.
Yeah,
And
I
I
love
can
it.
only describe it as, feeling more whole, more at home, more at ease, less stress, um, all those kinds of things, more like a complete whole.
Yeah, I love it. The
So
top.
then I think you as an architect would have a challenge because, you have to personalize a house for a family, but there's more than one member of a family more
Yeah,
often. It's a challenge.
it
And
is.
some
It is.
you have to probably skipper between what standards so the house can be sold in the future and what's suitable for that particular family.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I find, yeah, it's a balance. There are spaces in a home and a home and a property because my work goes beyond the walls of the building as well, into
Mm-hmm.
the garden as well for the entire property. Um, to ensure, it's important to ensure that there are spaces within that property that are really supporting the soul's purpose of each being of that family. And then that there are spaces where they can come together and be together. But, you know, and it depends on who it is. But, you know, a friend of mine always, even, you know, they were moving, they were moving quite a bit to different homes, and it was always her top priority. She's a mother, two boys, that she has an extra room. So that was always the top, you know, like no matter where they go, as long as she has an extra room which she can lock and put a note on the door saying it's mom's time. It's mom's time, right? And there, right?
Yeah.
So she knew it from a, you know, quite an early stage on to have those boundaries. But there's so much more that it could be. There are some people who prefer to be working outside, chopping wood, or you know, always working in the garden, and that's their space. That's their soul space. Some people want to be in a tub outside and watching the stars. Perhaps a cold tub like you, a freezing ice tub. So um, yeah, I love it. I love the what opened up in this conversation about doors, and I invite everybody to. I love that you could start as simple as just putting a note on your door, a symbol that you like, just what Nikki recommended, perhaps a writing. I mean, in Turkey, we have a lot of prayers that are put on the door. Maybe the evil eyes are hung on the door, right? Like the blue charm.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I love that. Now I'm going to even think about it because we're in a flat right now. We're in an apartment, and I can get creative with what's downstairs in the front entrance. There's a garden there, and it's
I
exciting. And
have
then yeah, go ahead.
on my front door on the inside. When I moved out, I got a present from a colleague of mine, a little Fatima hand of Fatima, for above the door,
Oh,
and it's been in
yeah,
every
yeah.
house. Yeah,
And there's prayer
and
and
yeah,
there's
and
script
and
and yeah. Okay.
and over the years, sometimes when I was on vacation, I found a symbol So I have a small collection. I think it's three, 4 or 5 different kinds of symbols coming from trips I made or people brought me that are blessings above the door. So for
Oh,
me, it's like this little shelf of touristic reminders, but also people who thought of me. And
yeah.
for me, I don't know how people experience coming into my house because I have really small hallway, like all the Dutch houses. Uh,
Yeah,
uh,
I've
and
seen, heard of those. Yeah.
yeah, but for me, it makes me feel good, and that's what counts.
Yeah.
It makes me feel at home.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I feel we're wrapping up here. How long have we been talking for?
I don't know, 45 minutes,
Oh,
something like
45
that.
minutes. Perfect. Yeah, I feel like now the energy is ready to wrap up. And Nikki, it
Yeah.
was so great. Thanks for joining this week and next week. No, what is it? In two weeks'
In two
time.
weeks.
In 2 weeks' time, I'll be on your account, and we'll continue the conversation about the energy of houses and properties. Yeah, and how they can, when you're aware of these energies, how they can bring much balance, grounding, alignment, abundance, health, vitality. It's like, because it's like, why? Why are we talking about this? Why is it important?
Mhm.
Yeah, and yeah.
And if you have any questions or topics that you would like us to discuss, please send us a DM and let us know.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, Nikki, it was great
Thank
chatting.
you.
We'll talk soon. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
So how do I leave?
I think we have to put the X, maybe it's the X at the top.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
I'll do that. Bye bye.
See ya.